Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on YouTube. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it? Especially if you love the movies. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, welcome to Let's Get Physical Media, episode number 87. I'm, of course, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, your pharaoh of physical media, Robert Meyer Burnett. But you know what? You guys didn't come to see me. Let's face it. I mean, as wonderful as I might be, I'm not the draw here. I'm not the draw here. You know who the draw here is? Your favorite German, my favorite German, everybody's favorite German. That's right, Dietz, the man from Saarbrücken, Deutschland. That is, of course, Mr. Dieter Bastian. Dieter, how are you today?
Rob, trying to bring back a little bit of the summer feeling, you know, with my Max Payne shirt. And as I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Dieter here I am, rock you like a hurricane, and welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media, and let's jump right in. Rob, why is American football finding place here in Germany? What is up with that?
Well, you know, Dietz, we like to colonize the planet any way we can, and you know, we didn't have like what the British Empire had. I mean, we have a navy, but we don't use it the way the British Empire did. So we use football, American football, pummeling foreign countries such as yourself, less developed countries such as Germany, that does not understand the greatness of American football. So what we do is we bring it to you.
Sure.
We bring democracy. We brought freedom in World War II for your people. And now we're going to bring you American football, and we're going to demand that you love it. You know, it's maybe not as patient and elegant of a game as your football there in Europe is. But you know what we don't have? We don't have soccer hooligans. We don't have hooligans at our sporting events. No. They don't get in fights. Maybe some do, but, you know. So the real question is, why aren't you there? Why aren't you watching some American football? Because you remind me, or you absolutely are the sporting type, right?
No, Rob, I'm certainly not. And considering your show that you did last night, somebody asked me in the live chat, and I was not knowing what he was talking about. Would I watch the game here? And what, in Munich? What the hell is going on? I would love to know how this contract has come to fruition, that they are playing here in Germany. Strangely enough.
Well,
but okay. And let's jump right in, Rob. You know what I always want to know.
I don't.
My Sunday evening.
Okay. Should I be scared?
Because we have that little new movie starting this week. How does Wakanda doing?
I know what you wanted to. And you know what? Here I was thinking, did I set everything up for the show? And I did, but I forgot this. How is it doing? Let's see. Why don't we check it out? So here's the box office. Box office. The headline, our friend Nancy Tartaglione says, Sunday update, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever roars to 330 million global start, edges the original picture's overseas bow with 150 million at the international box office. Disney Marvel's Black Panther, Wakanda Forever has leapt out of the gate with a 330 million global bow. Of that, 180 million is from domestic and 150 million from the international box office. Worldwide, and in likes for likes, the 330 million weekend reps the third highest start for any Hollywood title during the pandemic era, and all of those are MCU films, as well as the second biggest global opening of 2022 to date. Also in global terms, Black Panther 2 is running 5% behind the original Black Panther, which had the benefit of President's Day and Lunar New Year holidays, and 8% ahead of Thor: Love and Thunder, which released in the summer. Overseas, $150 million marks the fifth highest international opening weekend posted by any Hollywood film of the pandemic era, and 4 of them are MCU releases. It is also the 12th highest MCU opening weekend of all time. In offshore like-for-likes and at current exchange rates, Black Panther 2 came in at 95% ahead of Black Adam, 29% ahead of The Batman, and 4% ahead of the original Black Panther. The sequel did indeed come in lower overseas than where we had it ahead of the weekend, though as we previously noted, there was a key factor at play. We knew Korea was going to be a swing with the box office. The market has been erratic this year, but particularly this weekend, it was coming out of a mourning period after a national tragedy. Korea landed as the number 4 opening market, and Black Panther 2 did dominate play. In general, Asia did not perform as expected or hoped. Social sentiment is affecting it with chatter about the tone and length of the film, as well as disappointment in perceived limited action. In Japan, the only market where Black Panther did not open number 1, it was competing directly with a new local title, Suzumi no Tojimari, which took the top spot. Australia, however, did see a significant Friday-Saturday bump. In Latin America, there was also a 100% bump from Friday to Saturday versus 55% jumps for Thor: Love and Thunder and Doctor Strange. The runtime may have affected the early starts. Remember, this movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes. So, it did okay. In IMAX, the global haul was $22.6 million, the 4th best opening ever for the format in the month of November, and $8.4 million was the highest international November start without China. Now,
that means Wakanda Forever has almost made as much money as Black Adam in 4 weeks.
Yes, that is true. Now, I'll tell you where for Smile is up to $210 million globally.
Unbelievable.
Great. Ticket to Paradise doing well, $150 million global. Armageddon Time, James Crane's new movie, $2.5 million global. The Banshees of Inisherin is at $14 million global. Halloween Ends made over $100 million global, so that did okay. Now, what's really interesting, so the Black Panther, it is a for domestically here at the United States, it grossed $180 million. It looks like. Now, remember, these numbers aren't final.
Yeah.
That, and I hate to bring this. You're sitting down, right?
Yeah, I'm sitting.
Okay, I want you to prepare yourself for this news, Dieter, because I know you're going to find it particularly distressing. With a $180 million opening, this MCU title unseats the previous November opening movie.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Opening movie.
Catching Fire.
Why do you have to ruin my joke? You stepped on my joke. I was going to bring it up. But yes. The Hunger Games Catching Fire. The Hunger Games Catching Fire has now been dethroned for a November opening. So there you go.
Damn it, Rob.
I know. What can I tell you? So there you go. But now here's what I find most interesting about this weekend's box office. So if you look at the box office charts, do you know what the number 2 movie is in American box office? Number 2 with Black Adam. And Black Adam is only down 45%. Now, it's been hanging in there. Now, it has made, it's not a great number, but it's made $152 million domestically. Now, the real question is the movie going to eke out profitability, meaning somewhere, somewhere north of $450 million? Because I'd like to see it. want to see Dwayne Johnson's passion project. He stuck with it for almost 20 years. I want to see it make money.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Rob, I haven't seen Wakanda, whatever, ever. And I watched your review on the John Campea show, and you talked a little bit about the movie is very dark. And I heard that complaint from a lot of YouTubers, Rob. So I don't think it is particularly just the theaters. Was there perhaps shots that were done day for night again?
I think that there was a mistake made. It looked to me, because the thing is, it wasn't that it was just dark. The film's beautifully shot. You can see it in the trailers. It looks to me like a mistake was made in the file that was sent to theaters. And this kind of stuff happens. It happens a lot more across the board. And because I, as a post-production supervisor, it didn't look right. When you can't see, I mean, obviously most of the cast is black in the film. And when you are making a film, when you're making a movie, you have to light, especially when darker skinned people are in the frame with lighter skinned people, you have to make sure, you're lighting a movie properly. And the scenes, I know that this movie is beautifully shot because I've seen it in the trailers. You can see the scenes and sometimes they brighten up trailers. This movie, the file that I saw was somehow it was mistaken. I don't know what they took. It looked to me like there was a setting almost as if there were theaters that were given, I don't know. They were given the wrong thing. And I don't know, I hate to, cast dispersions on anyone, but it was a mistake. And it was really frustrating to watch the film. It's different than when the projector bulbs are dim. This was actually in the file that was sent to the theaters. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever going to admit it, and I don't know if they'll particularly care. But if I was the filmmaker and I was in the theater that I saw, and I was in a premium theater, it's a great theater, the Harkins Theater, the Cine One, their main auditorium, big, very comfortable auditorium, great place to see a movie. The film was, it looks like sludge. And I believe the mistake was in the file itself. Because if you look at the scene in particular, all the stuff in Talocan, but the stuff in when Namor comes out of the river on the beach and confronts Ramonda and Shuri, you could barely see anything. And I've seen that clip played on the internet, and it looked fine. It did not look like that in the theater that I was in, and I would be pissed. And I'll tell you something. The problem is,
it wasn't a 3D version that you saw.
No, but it looked. Okay. You know what it did look like? It looked like when the theaters. One of the problems, the reason that 3D never really caught on here in America, is because it was never presented correctly. Well, not never, but unless you were at an IMAX theater, most of the time, because 3D cuts the light going to the screen by 50%. So you need to have a theater that's calibrated to show 3D so it's not too dark. Most American theaters, I hate to say it, the presentation's shitty. There aren't union projectionists anymore. The people that are running these theaters are not rocket scientists that are making sure that these images are great. And I think that the files that were sent to theaters, there was a mistake in many of them. I don't know what that mistake is, but it was definitely in the file. There is a mistake. Yep. And I think that, by the way, I'll tell you something. I think psychologically, it hampers people's enjoyment of the film. And that's one of the reasons. Totally. I'm not saying that they had to love this movie, because this is a wildly ambitious film that tries to do probably too many different things. I was engrossed by it. I was very interested in this film. I didn't go in going, well, there's no Chad Boseman. They didn't recast the Black Panther. It's all women power, and there's not enough men in the movie. I didn't feel that way at all. I just wanted to go watch an interesting sci-fi superhero action thriller that had a lot on its mind, and I got that. But I'll tell you, that presentation was shitty, and I want to go see it in IMAX.
I heard that often, Rob.
Yeah, it was bad. And as I almost wanted to, I was thinking about writing a letter, but I went out on Twitter and I said, did anyone else feel that was the case? And so many people wrote back and said, no, it was dark. And hearing that,
okay.
it wasn't just a theater thing. This was a file issue. And you know what? I'll bet every single file that should get sent out to a theater should get checked. But who's going to check it? I mean, but this was a mass. I think this was a specific format, and there was a mistake made on the creation of the DCP for this movie. The DCP is the digital cinema package that theaters now play that the studios send out instead of film prints, and it's a collection of digital files that are meant to work together and play on the screen. There was a mistake made in the DCP. Absolutely. Okay. Or they sent out the wrong format DCP. 100%. And, I don't know if anyone's going to talk about this. Because, people don't care. I'd be fucking pissed, though. If I was Ryan Coogler, I'd be like, fuck. Because I do think it cut into the box office. Because if Marvel movies have a pop to them, and they've got a almost like a pop art color scheme. This movie's has very vibrant, a lot of great colors. The night scenes, I mean, it was just wrong. It was just wrong. And I'm fucking, by the way, I'm sick of it. Okay. Anyway, don't mean to go out on a rant here, but god damn it, movie studios.
No, but I heard you talk about it, and wanted to bring that topic up because I heard it from other people too. Right?
Yeah.
And especially when the Avatar trailer placed in front of it, that doesn't do that kind of stuff any favors,
Yeah, no, it didn't, and that was really frustrating.
Okay, Rob, from my end, I always want to, like a good TV show, catch up on things we talked about last week, not only the live chat. Do you remember, Rob, last week I talked about God of War Ragnarok, the 2 special editions that come out for the PlayStation 5.
Oh, yes, I do.
Don't include a disc, but the standard version does. And here comes the kicker, Rob. This version was sent out this week, to the people, and some had the unfortunate luck that they got 2 add-on codes and not the code for the game in it. Can you imagine you get a special edition? Yeah, Rob. Can you imagine you pay a lot of money for the special edition for perhaps the title for the PlayStation 5, and you get the add-on code 2 times, but not the download code for the game? Well, Sony, you should have put the disc in the steelbook that comes with the special edition.
Well, I mean, look, we're seeing this. We're seeing this across the board. I mean, there is, and look, I understand cost-cutting measures, getting rid of the human element. Nobody wants to spend the time to check things and recheck things. But I'll tell you, this is now becoming part of our culture, and it is not a good trend. And there's no excuse, especially for a game. This probably, would you agree that this is might be the biggest PlayStation release of the year?
Exactly. For me, Rob, it is what I call a system seller. A system seller is, for me, if you buy the console just for this game, it is okay. If you don't play any other game just for this game, it's okay. And considering just the reviews of God of War Ragnarok, it seems to be their title. And can you imagine you are hyped, excited to play this game, then you can't play because you get not the download code for the game, but for the add-on. And now make your case to Sony that you gotten the wrong code,
Frustrating.
On another end, Rob, I've seen reviews of Saturday Night Fever, the 4K, and the reviews for the 4K are not really good, Rob.
Now, I have not received my Criterion order. I have not received my order from Australia. I have not received, and I was rubbing it in last week, dude, because it had shipped and it was supposed to arrive Friday. Yeah. I didn't get my Highlanders.
Yeah. Me neither, Rob, but at least I got my shipping notice. Mine is
I have my shipping notes on the way, but I didn't even the guy from Kino Lorber who called me up and said he was going to send me some discs. Got nothing from Kino Lorber. But I did get something from our friend George Feltenstein at Warner Brothers.
Ooh.
I got some discs early, bro.
Nice.
And you know what? I got 3 words for the entire industry that they could learn from when it comes to Warner Archives releases. You know what those 3 words are? High bit rates. Warner Archive has always crushed, man. They make sure that you get the highest bit rates you can on those discs. More so, their bit rates are usually higher than standard Warner home video releases. They've always been that way.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they've got somebody like George Feltenstein at the top making sure that they are putting out the best possible home video product that you can get. And these things that he sent me, no
Delish.
exception. Delish, man. They are delicious looking, and they don't come out until December.
Yeah. That's great, Rob. But I've seen, just to mention it, I've seen reviews for Saturday Night Fever not being particularly well from the picture quality, and even the sound quality is not up to par with the Blu-ray. So I was contemplating, should I cancel the title? I think it will come out in Germany this week. But the Blu-ray, it comes with the Blu-ray, so I will probably still take it.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reviewers out there that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And that doesn't mean I'm not saying that this is a good title that nobody recognizes. But there could be, and by the way, there could be all kinds of mistakes made. And remember, I would say this, first and foremost, when people are talking about the sound, if it's not as good as the Blu-ray, that's a different story. But this is a film that came out in 1977.
I think about it, yeah.
And so, because Grease was 78, and I that film, it was not made for a big budget. So I'd have to, I haven't read any reviews of the disc, so.
Yeah, but the considering the sound, it's Dolby True HD on both titles, so it should be identical. But even they recognize differences. So
that's
we'll have
disappointing.
We'll check for myself. So this was from the news side. How do we go from here, Rob? Oh, just one thing, Rob. Considering streaming a little bit, I only watched one movie this week, Rob. Don't Worry, Darling, on HBO Max.
Oh, what did you think?
And Rob, I will keep my pre-order open. I liked how the movie just was shot. And yes, the twist at the end, even I had the right idea what is probably be going on in the end. So it wasn't really original in that sense, but I love just the decor, from everything. So it was a nicely shot movie, and I will keep my pre-order open for the movie.
Yeah,
so
I look.
6 out of 10.
I love the fact that we have a new female voice. I think Olivia Wilde, I don't know her personally, but I really liked Booksmart. I thought it was a really smashing debut film that was beautifully directed. I thought Don't Worry, Darling shows promise. I mean, Matthew Libatique's photography is amazing, but that was her movie. She developed it. I think there were some things she said that I found disappointing, like talking about how Jordan Peterson was the basis of the villain, and that was odd to me. And I understand Olivia Wilde is a kind of a firebrand, and I get it, but I do think that she's a talented director, and I think the movie's better than a lot of people, because the publicity completely wrecked any perception. The end of the movie, it was based on a Blacklist script, and I thought the end of the movie really was not as good as the ending of the actual script itself. But I thought that there was a lot of great filmmaking on display. It's just ultimately the end of that movie, it just became derivative and sort of uninteresting. They could have come up with even the original ending of the script, which is sort of similar, but it was just a derivative story. And especially if you're a science fiction reader and you have read any Philip K. Dick books or anything like that, it was a little lackluster. But I enjoyed the filmmaking in the movie. It was really well done.
Too. So I will keep my pre-order open and not cancel it. Okay, this was Don't Worry, Darling. How do we go for him here, Rob? Should we do the letters?
Yeah, why don't we do letters?
Okay, because I can immediately combine the first two, because both came from Brian Knight. And he says, Robert, we know John Campion's favorite phrase is a good Canadian kid. Next time he uses the phrase, remind him Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, is a good Canadian movie. And with that, he continues, Robert, I enjoyed your riff on Ilsa from my letter you read last week. The only thing you missed was answering my question, comparing Ilsa with the Star Wars interrogator on Endor.
Yes, is Daedra inspired by Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS? I would have to say, look, I mean, probably, because look, for a lot of people, it's hard for more modern audiences who did not grow up with 70s sleaze to fully appreciate the exploitation movies of the 70s. And I mean, they would be so many people. I can't imagine showing college students something like Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. We'd get canceled. This is not a safe space movie. Men get castrated. Yeah. There's lesbianism and it's in a concentration camp. I mean, but I absolutely think the kitten with a whip, commandant, whatever, call it what you want. You can't not watch Daedra and not think Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. But you know what? I mean, that would be any strong, sadistic female in any movie. But yeah, I definitely think Daedra's got Ilsa vibes to her. But remember, Ilsa
little
was
DNA of her.
A little DNA. Yeah, because Tony Gilroy, anybody who's our age knows these movies. I mean, Ilsa was one of those movies that you had to. I remember in the home video era, I'd read about it, but I hadn't been able to see it because it was hard to get at first. And then some video label would release it, and you'd have to watch it. And then you have to watch the other movies. But there was a whole subgenre of Nazi concentration camp movies in the 70s, just like there were nunsploitation movies. I mean, Love Camp 9 and it was all sexual debauchery and torture that were behind the scenes, and it was, I don't think it would fly today, but definitely so. I think that there's Diane Thorne and Daedra have a lot in common.
Okay, and Brian Knight wrote in a third letter. He's back again. Robert, I was interested in your story of finding Casablanca in a Paris theater. I can do one better. In 1978, I was traveling through Europe for 5 weeks when I was 18. I found the theater in Paris, one day showing the movie Emmanuel. Heard about the movie and had to see it. Never thought I would fall in love with racquetball.
They've got short shorts in that scene. By the way, Dieter, that Emmanuel box set that you got me with Emmanuel in 4K is one of the great physical media box sets ever. It's amazing. But yeah, I mean, look, I would say this, though. Now, that wasn't too far away from Emmanuel's original release, and it doesn't surprise me that in the 70s, Emmanuel was playing in a theater. But in the early 2000s, to find Casablanca in a theater, that was pretty cool. I'm not saying that my experience was better, because I bet you had a much more arousing time at the theater. And to be honest, I didn't go see Casablanca at the theater. But you went and saw Emmanuel show, so swing. That's good for you.
Yeah. Well, I don't seem to get away from this movie. A letter writer named Sanderson wrote in about, of course, Free Enterprise 4K. Is there a cut negative for Free Enterprise? If you are able to remaster for 4K, would you use any of the trimmed negatives if they exist? What's up with the sound mix? Thanks. From Sanderson.
Well, Sanderson, it is my goal. First of all, there is the theatrical version of Free Enterprise does have a cut negative. There is a cut negative. And the movie was mixed in Dolby SR. We finished it, which is kind of a dead format. So it is my hope, if I can convince our executive producer, Mark Gottwald, owns Free Enterprise outright. And what I want to try and do is convince him to let me get into the negative. I might have to crowdfund it or something. I mean, to be honest, it would probably cost about $200,000 to do everything that I want to do. That's including getting the movie out on Blu-ray and 4K and all that, because I'd have to start from scratch. So yes, my preferred, the extended version of the movie. I want to go in and create what Spielberg did with Close Encounters, a definitive cut of the film, where, because I've already re-edited the film, just trimmed it up. Just I've learned stuff about editing over the last 20 years, 25 years, and trim it up and make an entirely new definitive version of the film. I would be using negative trims from the movie, assuming nobody threw them away, which would be really unfortunate, because my extended edition has those trims, and I'd like to go back in. And there was one scene that I was never able to revisit, which is a phone conversation between Audie England and Rafer Weigel, Robert, and Claire's characters that I would like to revisit. And the Logan's Run dream sequence, the way I originally shot it, is not represented in the film, which was much more dreamy. So I'd like to go back and do that, and then do an entirely new sound mix. And as a matter of fact, Scott Spock, who scored the film, did a fine job, but he also used library cues. And I would love to go back and remix, or actually have a whole new score created for the film. And because not enough people have seen the movie, I mean, the movie it would be better. I could just make it overall better. And it's not like people are precious about it. Nobody would barely even know. It would just be a better movie because it's not well known. And you know what? The only person that I would really care about is Dieter's opinion. If I could make the movie better and get Dietz to like it more, I want to rock him like a hurricane.
You only need to sign it. You only need to sign it. Fuck off, you douchey douche.
Oh, I will. The new version, the 4K version.
My special limited one edition.
Yeah, maybe I could maybe with a new 4K, I could get Turbine to release it on a media book.
Yeah,
because there is a German dub. It came out in Germany twice.
Rob, since I haven't gotten around to giving your movie a second, this German dub just to see what is up with that.
Oh, I've heard it's just not good. So
okay, I can imagine, Rob. I can imagine. The last letter comes from William Moore. Dear Mr. Burnett, I contact you with deep respect for your knowledge and professionalism. I'm a follower of your YouTube channel, and I agree with you that physical media is dying on a slow path. But I would go down that path because I still want to buy physical media and get a collection that I can enjoy whenever I want without the need of the internet or downloading anything. In order to do this, I have a huge and painful question that maybe you can help me with. That's one of the questions, Rob, we get every week. If you want to buy a 4K, HDR10 Plus, and Dolby Vision player right now, what would be your choice or choices? Thank you in advance for your time, for your consideration, and if this happens, for even reading this email. Thank you also for your work, your videos, and your way to transmit your ideas on all media. It makes my day every time I watch you. Un saludo, Guillermo, more rubles. So, Rob,
I love this question.
A question that we get probably every week.
Okay,
recommendation.
I actually did some research and for this question. And so I will tell you what I'm running right now. My main primary player is a Panasonic player. It is the Panasonic DP UB820K, and it's about $500. And it's 4K Dolby Vision, Ultra HD, HDR10, everything. That's my primary player. Now, it is a $500 player. Now, my former player that I still run, which I bought in 2018, so it's 4 years old now, is a Sony X700 that's my multi-region player. It's a tiny little plasticky disc player that I got as an interim disc player, but I just never got around to replacing it. So the Panasonic is the one that I'm running, and I really like that Panasonic. But again, I'm a snob. If I could, there are two players, as a matter of fact, that I'm going to upgrade to when I can. The first is a new Pioneer Elite player, the UDP LX500. The UDP LX500 plays all discs. It's $1,000. Now I know a lot of people are going $1,000. Look, if you're a snob and you have a high-end audio system or whatever, I love Pioneer Elite equipment, so that would be probably my primary player. But the player that I really want to buy is the Panasonic DP UB 9000 multi-region networked disc player. It is $1,500, and you can get it at B&H Audio. And again, that is a multi-region player, and it's Panasonic, and I'm a big fan. And it's got great. It does some great upscaling. It's actually got a THX certification, believe it or not, and it does 4K streaming if you want it to do it, and it supports almost anything you want to play back on it. It'll play back. So
Nice.
again, that is the Panasonic DP UB900 HDR 4K UHD multi-region network Blu-ray disc player. But again, it's hard. I don't know if I'll ever have an extra $1,500. But you know what? The funny thing about it is, like, I've gotten to a point in my life where I really want to buy like a couple of these players and put them away. Over time their belts and things get fucked up or they get old. But I feel like I should put these in some deep freeze somewhere, because as long as, it's morbid, but I think about it this way. Like, let's just say I live to be 80. Good life, right? 80. That's only 25 years for me. So I'm thinking, okay, right now I've got an Xbox X, a PlayStation 5. I've got the Sony multi-region player is going to have to be replaced.
And the Penna?
Yeah, and so
Panasonic.
Yeah, the Panasonic. So I've got 25 years of loving my discs. Now I have a Laserdisc player that's almost 25 years old that still works.
Probably that should be 20 years too, Rob, considering the Pioneer Elite. I don't know. The specifics anymore. It was a golden player with the Switch.
Now,
and it had a separate CD slot, I believe.
To me, the NTSC video is garbage. I can't even look at it. However, there are certain things that I have, like, that one day I'm just going to rip and put on the YouTube. Like the Laserdisc for Basic Instinct has like an hour-long documentary where they interview Sharon Stone, Michael Douglas, and Paul Verhoeven that's never been ported over anywhere. And there are a lot of audio commentaries, a lot of the Criterion stuff, but you can find them online. But I haven't found that documentary anywhere, that Basic Instinct, and that's off the 2-disc special edition. And when I hear people like internal discussions at Lionsgate where they're like, well, we don't know if we should release Basic Instinct in the modern era. I'm like, fuck all that. Give me a break. But I should take all of my Laserdiscs that have things like John Sturgis's commentary from Bad Day at Black Rock. I don't know if maybe that is on the disc. I think that's actually a Warner Archive disc. I'm not sure. I should check that out. But there's things that should be preserved. But other than that, NTSC video is garbage. I can't even look at it anymore. So my lasers, you know what I started doing in my media room? I got those frames for the Laserdiscs and I'm putting them up on the wall.
Oh, good.
They become art.
So. Yeah. Considering the gaming consoles, Rob, have you just checked them out, considering the quality if you play a 4K or Blu-ray?
Yeah, but like the Panasonic doesn't have Dolby Vision. The PlayStation 5.
Okay.
And like, I have to say, I am loving going through in the new media room. I am loving going through my 4K collection of discs because I wasn't really able to do they're incredible, and by the way, even though I don't own it, I've not acquired it yet. I did see it. Casablanca is insane in 4K. Now I know that it's only a black and white film, but it's never looked or sounded better. And I actually spoke to George Feltenstein, and he said that audio technology has increased since the last time that they restored it. So he said the sound is significantly better. He's right. It's an incredible disc, and they're doing some great work. I mean, the restorations on Poltergeist and Lost Boys and Casablanca over at Warner Brothers, and what Paramount's been doing. Although with Saturday Night Fever, that's kind of a bummer because Fatal Attraction looked great.
Yep.
And I speak for George too when I say, hey, Paramount, yo, when do we get our 4K of Mommy Dearest? What's up, yo? Make it happen. I want to see no more wire hangers in 4K. Yeah.
Nice.
Don't
Where do we go from
with
here?
me. Why don't we show things? I'll show things.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 things to show. And they did come from George Feltenstein and the lovely folks at Warner Archive. First is John Huston's adaptation of Tennessee Williams' play, The Night of the Iguana. Ooh. Now, this disc looks incredible. I had seen this movie a long time ago, and I remember, who played Rockford Files? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Anyway, Jim Rockford.
Yeah, and
he said, like, I remember reading somewhere that he said he was originally going to be in this movie, but it was too Tennessee Williams for him, which I thought was pretty funny. A man and a woman, love and lust, ruin and redemption. One night they all meet in Mexico. This movie is not for everybody, but this looks incredible. What a cool restoration.
James Garner.
James Garner, thank you. How can I forget that? See, names are slipping. Yeah, I'm old.
Me too.
I mean, James Garner in the Americanization of Emily. Come on now.
Yeah.
Which I think also Warner Archive put out. This is a great movie. I really like watching this again. John Huston. Although I forgot how deep into the 60s this is. I think it's 64 and it's still black and white. And then, of course, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Again, I love, and by the way, kudos to Warner Archive for using the one sheet, the original key art from these films. I mean, look at the art. Look at that. Why don't movies use artwork anymore? Don't know. So these are the 2 discs I got this week. Nothing I've ordered showed up, including my Highlander 4K disc. Nothing I ordered. My Criterion order was large from Barnes & Noble. That's why I probably haven't got that. Indicator, or not Indicator.
Imprint.
But I think that's because some things I ordered haven't come out yet. So I have like 20 things on order that didn't show up, but they'll all show up for next week, I'm sure. So, except maybe, but
because we're all waiting on the video for the bad Canadian kid getting his.
I know. He doesn't even know he's going to get it. He'll be like, thanks. No,
what's this? I don't know anything to do with it.
But again, a shout out to Warner Archive for putting me on the list to get these discs. Very much appreciated. And by the way, this movie's a lot of fun. They remade it with Daryl Hannah. I love my 50s sci-fi because it's also nostalgic for me because I saw all these movies when I was a kid. And whenever they come out, like Film Detective, when they were putting out their movies or getting these from Warner Archive. I mean, and by the way, David Zaslav, you out there, because David Zaslav watches this show every Sunday. They really need to have, I mean, they used to have a Warner Archive streaming channel. HBO Max should really have a branded, a branded section, a Warner Archive section, where they celebrate the rich history of these films. And I mean, I don't know how if he'd want to be an on-camera personality, but you could have, because I just love listening to his voice. He's got a great voice. To listen to George Feltenstein speak is to have a smile put on your face. He should be like the Robert Osborne and give a little intro because he's so knowledgeable. And HBO Max should have a Warner Archive section because they've done such good work with these restorations. And I really think like Gen Z, they're rediscovering, they go back and they look into finding all these things. It would be a hipster thing to have a Warner Archive section on HBO Max. And there's been such good work that they've done lately. I think that, I mean, and it wouldn't cost them, I mean, they'd have to prepare the metadata and all that, but Warner Brothers is already doing this, and it's content, and they could brand it. You could have Warner Archive film festivals the way TCM does, and they should do it. Come on,
Yeah.
David Zaslav,
Separate-
you want to make more money in streaming?
Yeah, a separate section would be nice. Everything under one roof.
Yeah, and
Fine.
under Warner Archive, the way they do it, they've got sci-fi and horror, thriller, romance, and you have sub headings under that. I mean, I think that'd be great. I mean, you make it a thing. Like, let's have a Warner Archive night. Go back in time and see how they did it in the past with, out of the past, something. I don't know. You can make trailers for each one of the things. It'd be great. Put it on social media. Only on HBO Max.
No, Max.
Come on,
Nice.
David. Let's get to it. Chop, chop.
I have my stuff that I show. I have a little bit more. I have two controversial steelbooks, I would say. The first one, I think it's probably one of the worst I have ever seen. I just ordered it. Didn't look at it fully, Rob. And I want to know from you if you can tell what the name of the movie is, Rob.
By the way, we have not been getting the strongest signal from you today.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I'm supposed to guess what that is. Okay,
Yeah.
this might be even worse than the artwork for Poltergeist.
Exactly, Rob. What movie, Rob, is this?
Cube?
Almost, Rob. Nope.
That's
Nope from John. That's the steelbook.
for
Yeah.
Nope.
That's a little bit
Okay.
exactly, Rob. This is the font of the opening credits. I watched
Yeah.
it this afternoon, and I had a great time. Totally bonkers, just like with us. I totally had a good time. But I was surprised when I got this, and I thought, okay, this is probably not
Boy,
the
that is-
finest steelbook ever. But
By the
at
way,
least
can
the back,
Speaking of
Is-
steelbooks,
is-
I gotta give a shout out to Scream Factory. They have sucked me back in with their John Carpenter steelbooks. The Fog, They Live, fucking great. That's what a steelbook should look like, not like this.
Yeah. So this is probably on the top list of worst, I just saw, okay, will be coming out as a steelbook order, but I didn't check the design, but the standard cover isn't that great either. The other one I've got, well, it's shiny at least, Rob, but still perhaps a little bit controversial for most Starship Troopers steelbook.
Yeah, I'm waiting for mine, but I kind of like that steelbook. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what it
It's
it
a little bit in
is.
the vein of heavy metal.
Yeah, with the dead soldiers and all that. By the way, have you looked at that? I can't wait to get that transfer. I'm dying to get that, my steelbook.
So Starship Troopers as a steelbook. And then other 4Ks that I've got two from Criterion because they was price reduced at Amazon. And there's only one thing that counts in our life, and that is, of course, The Sound of Metal. Unfortunately, I still haven't watched the movie, but I will get to it this week. Finally, Sound of Metal. And comes, of course, 2 discs and a little booklet. But unfortunately, still haven't watched the movie.
You mean you didn't get Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love in 4K?
I have got the first 2 from, from Koch Media.
Yes, I
Here.
know. Oh, I know.
But I haven't delved into them. And the other 4K that I've got is from Criterion is Lost Highway.
Ooh, yeah.
The Digi. But you have to be really careful because they look like the Arrow stuff, totally identical.
Yeah.
Because you can just get it on Blu-ray. So it's always you have to keep a lookout that you
Sharp
really
eye, yes.
buy the edition that you want. Because they are totally similar considering the artwork of it. So Lost Highway.
I have to say, I got to give a shout out to Haunted Autumn in the chat. I love Prince of Darkness, but he says the perfect Prince of Darkness steelbook art, nothing but the crooked mustache, iconic. If you know Prince of Darkness, you'll know how funny that is. Kudos to you, Haunted Autumn. That's hilarious.
The next one, just to keep both movies tied together on 4K from Lionsgate, the 2 Evil Dead movies.
Yeah, nice.
And I wasn't aware that they come with the Blu-ray, so there's actually just a standard slipcase, but there are 4 discs in this. So you've got the 4K, and behind it is actually the Blu-ray 2.
Nice.
So this is actually a four disc.
Yeah, I have that
set,
steelbook,
which I wasn't expecting. I was just expecting the 4Ks to be in it. So actually 4 discs in this set. So the other 5, I would say, I keep it a little bit at bay. Rob, yesterday finally I got around to watch Dog Soldiers. And unbelievable considering the transfer. Never thought the movie would even be able to look.
No, dude, it looks great. That's Second Sight, bro. And we love our Second Sight on this show. Second Sight, we love Second Sight.
Exactly. Because 3 years ago there was already a German 4K out, but you can toss that away now.
Well, I'm looking forward to their, and George Felsenstein told me that he helped Second Sight find the negative for The Hitcher. They're doing The Hitcher, which is easily
insane.
The Hitcher is one of my most eagerly awaited releases of the year. By the way, Terrier says that Kino Lorber is going to release Ken Russell's movie Horror. I ordered that. That's one of the movies I ordered from Imprint. So
nice.
Yeah.
Should we go through the super chats?
Yeah, we got a few.
Okay.
We got some super chats. First of all, we have a tip. A tip came in from Justin Toner. Justin says, "Hi, Rob and Dieter. Went to my local Barnes & Noble store this week for the 50% off Criterion and Arrow sales going on. I got 7 Samurai on Blu-ray, replacing my DVD, Pan's Labyrinth, and Lone Wolf and Cub box set. By the way, if you got the Lone Wolf and Cub box set, there's a secret in that box set. There's a little compartment, and if you open the opposite end of the box where the discs come out, or wait a minute, it's either I think it's the opposite end. If you open up the flap, there's a little secret surprise in that disc. At least there was in the first releases, which is cool. And from Arrow, I got the Deep Red 4K. Yay, sales. Well, Justin, you're the man, and that's the way it should be. Love it. That's great. Then we've got Undead Sick writes in and says, "Hello, Rob and Dieter. I've seen Wakanda Forever in cinemas yesterday, and the darkness was fine. Now I'm going to make a bold statement. It's my favorite MCU movie of all time. I loved every minute of it." Well, it's interesting because when I went and saw it, the audience that I saw it with was very ethnically diverse, and they loved it. They loved it. And, I was saying, I was sitting in front of, 10 black women came in, and they were sitting behind me, and the emotional journey that they went on during the movie, the crying and it was amazing. I never, kudos to all of you ladies, because it was like watching the movie in Sense-Around, but with Sense-Around grief. And it was fantastic. No, they were amazing. They were so, and hearing them, it was really interesting because they, Lael Rockwell on our Midnight Musings told a story about how he had gone to see the movie. And there was a woman there, he said was in her 70s with her 2 sons. And at one point, she put her hand on Lael's hand. And when the movie was over, she explained that she had lost her 3rd son to cancer recently, and how much watching the movie helped her. And I think that, I always try and look at movies not for what I wanted out of them, but for what they are. And sometimes I'm guilty of not being able to do that. But I thought that Wakanda Forever was a wildly ambitious movie for what it tried to do and everything it was going for. And for that alone, it should be honored and recognized how much I mean, it's a comic book action adventure movie that had so much more going on in it. And while I had certainly, it was imperfect for me. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see it again. There was a lot to it, and I have to say, by the end of the movie, I was very moved. I really enjoyed it, and I think I wouldn't necessarily call it a triumph, but I am disappointed to see a lot of our fellow YouTube pundits reject the movie. And I really, it's now getting to the point where I think that a lot of a lot of the people that I actually admire, people that I've watched on YouTube, movie reviewers, pundits, are now going after things for the wrong reasons. And that hate or dislike of something has become a go-to position, and that to me is disappointing. And I'll tell you, the theater that I was in loved the film. And I stuck around and listened to some conversations afterwards just to sort of eavesdrop on people. And I think there's a lot of people that have gotten a lot out of this movie, cathartic and an experience where they, this movie's going to mean a lot of things to a lot of people. And yeah, sure, it's not the pulp sci-fi action adventure superhero fantasy that we might have wanted, but it aspires to more. And I think that what's really interesting to me is I feel like Wakanda Forever and the Eternals will make a great MCU double bill of movies that will forever be underappreciated. But that's just me.
Okay. Nice.
So what else? Where are we at now? I'm still reading super chats.
Yeah.
That said, so that was for Undead Sick. Guy from King's Highway just says, poop. Well, King's Highway, I hope that didn't mean you dropped a load in your pants. And that's on your mind right now. Maybe you meant to respond to Undead Sick's comment that he thought it was his favorite MCU movie. And that's, it's a divided film. I can understand that. Marcus Bismuth says, I find Namor a dumb character, bad decision making. Well, that might be true. I really liked Namor, and so yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Our friend Danzig 1979 says, wanted to say, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. I hope that maybe in the future we can enjoy Batman Mask of the Phantasm in 4K. It won't be the same without him in the role. Yes, we lost Kevin Conroy at 66. He was, of course, the voice of Batman in Batman the Animated Series, arguably one of the greatest, probably the greatest superhero animated series. If somebody said to me, what are the greatest superhero animations of all time, I would say the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons and Batman the Animated Series, which harked back to the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons. There's been a lot of great superhero animation, but I think Batman the Animated Series was the best, and Kevin Conroy, who went on to do Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond, and of course in many movies, and he was great. And then he was able to play a live-action Bruce Wayne in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover on the CW, and he was a towering presence, and more than that, he was so good to the fan base and really understood what his position was and how beloved he was. So yes, it was unfortunate to lose him, and we are all diminished. So that we are caught up via super chats and tips.
Okay.
So people always ask me about the tip thing. For a while, I wasn't doing it. There is a tip link below or in all the shows, but they're different than super chats. So it just gives you people other ways to interact.
Different opportunity.
Yeah.
To send it. But even for people that are not sending super chats, could be featured here because of the live chat. So I would just skim through the live chat from last week.
Well, before you do, I want to say one thing. I noticed Roberto Suarez is in the chat.
Yeah,
and I wanted to say that Roberto's show, it was called Latin X-Men. We changed the title. Now it's called ¿Qué pasa, PGS? And his new all-Spanish show with I say Alex Montano. I don't know. It's just Alex Montano. who's a Mexican national by way of Colombia, where he lives with his wife, hot toy collector, and all-around great guy. Alex and Roberto have an all-Spanish show here on the PGS network. That's the second show that joins show. So the Burnettwork, which is what I wanted it to be, is truly becoming a network with multiple shows. And Roberto, if you don't speak Spanish, he did a great tutorial, a minute-long public service message on how you can watch ¿Qué pasa, PGS? In any language you want using YouTube's translation feature. So just because it's in Spanish doesn't mean you can't watch it. So there you go.
So no negative feedback at the moment for the new title of the show?
No, everyone likes ¿Qué pasa, PGS? I like saying it. So there you go.
Nice. Okay. Previously on Let's Get Physical Media in the live chat, Gary Benjo Sandwich Worthington, Dietz has entered the building. We are saved. I hope so. Gary. Here I am.
Rocky
The Alex
like a hurricane.
Sorber answered to Altmetall, I'm going to love and hate the day that Infernal Affairs 4K comes out. They were referring to double dipping. You know, Rob, that after something comes out anew in 4K, we will have to pay again when the title gets released anew.
Well, that is, I just want to speak to that quickly. It is kind of annoying because, look, Criterion is putting out the box set of the 3 Infernal Affairs movies, which I'm very happy about because I have these Hong Kong DVDs. I think I have a Blu-ray of Infernal Affairs, the first one already, but I've got the DVDs of the 3, and I love taking the DVDs out, and they're actually Hong Kong DVDs, and I can't wait to replace it with that box set. So, but then again, they're going to put it out in 4K. I have to say, now that my media room is completely 4K'd out, that's all I want. I'm a fiend. 4K is almost better than the cocaine Tony Montana used to sell in Scarface in 1983. I'm like, I want to be like, hoover up that 4K. Give me more.
But they will probably announce the 4K set only after you purchased the Blu-ray set.
Of course.
Only then.
Of course. But I got to say, man, I'm like, wow, I've got like 600 4K titles. It's great to go back and, because it really is. I mean, you can. It's really. By the way, shout out to Severin. By the way, I was really kind of worried. I'm like, I bought. I showed it last week. I bought the Changeling in 4K, and I love the Changeling. The Changeling, Peter Medak's The Changeling. It's a really good movie, and I was worried, is the 4K. I mean, there's the original movie was grainy. It was done on a low budget, but it looks fucking good. It looks better than their their Blu-ray, and their Blu-ray was at least quality. But Severin, those folks at Severin,
nice. It's always good when a title can surprise you, considering the picture quality. Like,
it's good
for me with Small Soldiers.
Yep.
The movie then, Rob. The movie then with Scott and Mike. Hey Rob, I have been collecting ever since my wife and I met in 2005. What motivated you to start your YouTube channel, and any advice for a young channel with 66 subscribers? Rob, what motivated you, and what any advice for a new channel?
Well, what was interesting is, first of all, here's the thing. This is the most important thing for anybody that wants to start a YouTube channel. What you are selling is your opinions, your thoughts, your feelings, and you have to figure out what is uniquely you that differentiates you from anybody else who's just spouting their opinions on YouTube. So think about that and find something that's unique to you, the way you can present yourself and the way you can present your opinions. That's fun and turns you into, because think about it, you're turning yourself into a public personality. And if you're just going to be like, hi, I'm here to talk about the new disc that Criterion put out of Lost Highway, and no one's going to watch that. You got to figure out, like I got to tell you, there's a fellow YouTuber who I used to watch him. He's a British guy, British kid actually. I just call him a kid. His name's Elliot, and he has a great collection. And I've always watched, and I like his soothing voice, and I've watched him for a long time. But he kind of went through this metamorphosis where he decided to cull his collection and really focus on the most important films and things. And he concentrates on Criterion stuff now, and I really like that. I mean, I watched him anyway, and then I also watch Films at Home. He's another YouTuber who. And they're they're unique. They're when I tune in and watch those guys, I'm like, I want to see Elliot. I want to watch Films at Home. I want to see their unique way of presenting things, and that's how you become a YouTuber. You've got to give the audience something that they're not getting anywhere else, and only you know what that is. But what inspired me mostly was I was on everybody else's YouTube channels, and it was people. The late great John Schnepp, who got me on YouTube. He was the one that told me, he goes, you should start your own YouTube channel. And he's like, you've got this sort of unique positivity about things, and you should get on. I mean, obviously YouTube, you can make money. It is a business, and it's kind of weird, but it does become a business, and I'm not going to deny that it doesn't. And it is, and I'm happy, Dieter, if a major studio came along and said they wanted to give me piles of money to compromise myself and shill for them, I'll do it. That hasn't happened yet, though. And when we were contacted by Kino Lorber, who said they wanted to start sending us product, that was after we'd already talked about how great Kino Lorber was. They're like, look, if you're going to cover our 4Ks, we'll send them to you. That hasn't happened yet, though. Matt contacted me from Kino Lorber and
they're
said,
in the mail.
Yeah, they're in the mail. But so it is. You can run a YouTube channel like a business if that's what you want to do. It really depends. One of the things about YouTube, Elizabeth bought me a microphone. This microphone. She bought me this microphone as an early Christmas present, believe it or not, in December of 2018. And she said, it's time. You should start your own YouTube channel. Because I'd been on Collider Heroes for 3.5 years with John Campy and John Schnepp. And she's like, John Schnepp passed away, and then I wasn't on YouTube for a while because of craziness. And I mean, it wasn't that long, but John Campy then called me and hired me in August of 2018. And I've been streaming with him ever since. But one of the great things about doing I'm sorry this answer is going on so long. One of the things I think about doing YouTube for me is very cathartic. It's actually, the motion picture industry is tough to work on. And the entire time, I was working on Tango Shalom, and I was working on Dota Dragon's Blood season 1, 2, and 3. So during the time that I was working on YouTube on my own channel, I was actually working within the industry, and Tango Shalom was finished and came out during the time I was here. And hopefully in 2023, I'll be able to get Free Enterprise out. We're going to be doing the anthology. We did the film festival, the anthology, the Imagination Connoisseurs. We're going to publish that, crowdfund it. And I've got some other ideas that if this channel, if I keep it going and it keeps being financially viable, there's more I want to do. Like, I want to come to Europe. In 2023, I want to come to Europe, dude, and I want to take a road trip with you. And we're going to do Dietz and Rob, the Rockin' You Like a Hurricane Throughout Europe tour 2023, where you and I would drive through Europe and go places, and we'll meet people with physical media collections, because there's a project that I'm working on, that I've started work on, where I want to go to Europe and specifically film fans who have big collections of things, go to stores, and you and I would do it together. Like, we'd have to take, I don't know, a couple weeks. If you could take a couple weeks off. But the way to finance it would be through the YouTube channel. So, and crowdfunding. But that's something that I've been working on.
And we could even go...
We could, what?
And we can even go see you as Seattle Seahawks now here.
Isn't that crazy? Seahawks are doing great, by the way. Go Geno.
Totally.
Top of their division. But anyway, that's my long answer. Sorry about that.
There you go.
Back to you.
as an answer to how to start a movie channel. Considering I saw Causeway with J. Law, Tim Hens got that song Breaking the Law stuck in my head now. Tim, that always is
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
Richtig, breaking the law. Tom Jr. Jackson, Jennifer Lawrence says she wishes she listened to Adele and not done Passengers. And we are lucky that she didn't listen to Adele, because Adele doesn't strike me as a person who loves sci-fi movies in general. And Rob, you showed the House of Psychotic Women.
Yes.
Am I
yes.
right?
Yes.
House of Psychotic Women. And it's always nice to see, new people in the chat. And Irene Jobson was in the live chat, and she said, after you showed the House of Psychotic Women, oh, they made something about me. And Altmetall asks, are these some kind of art house psycho movies?
Wait, what now?
Are these some kind of art house psycho movies?
Yes. Yeah, no, they are. And they're all, it's funny, I didn't know that yeah, they are. They're all about different psychosis, but like I love bats. First of all, the book, hang on, I still have it here.
The little book.
I cannot recommend this book highly enough. The House of Psychotic Women. It's basically the author, by the way, Fab Press. This is the new version of this. The original book came out in 2012. I don't know. Kirla Janice wrote this book. This is an account. It's like her journey through all of these. She was a programmer at Fantastic Fest. She really knows her shit. I really loved reading this book, but it's like a personal account of her working her way through all of these films throughout history that depict, psychotic women. And not only that, it's lavishly illustrated with all kinds of international poster art, and but I really liked her prose, and it's I can't recommend this book highly enough. I mean, there's movies in here I've never even heard of, and I'm like I want to see them all now. So kudos to Severin for releasing the 4 movies. Let's see, do I have it? I don't know if I have it. Oh, here it is. So I showed it. As you can see, I've still been. So this is the collection that Severin put out, the House of Psychotic Women, that goes with the book. And like this Elizabeth Taylor movie, I had never heard of this, but somebody wrote to me and said that it's playing on Shudder. Now, I have yet to watch this. Here's the Elizabeth Taylor movie. It's called Identikit. Now, I don't know if this is still streaming on Shudder, because I haven't got to delve into these yet, because I just got this last week. But my friend Clark Von Trotha, who I went to high school with and who's a big physical media fan, collector, said that I Like Bats is a really great 80s vampire film. And I'm like, I've never heard of this movie. And me as a Fangoria kid, how can there be an 80s vampire movie that I have never heard of? But actually I did put on I Like Bats, to be honest. I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing, but it's like, wow. How have I never heard of this? So, very interesting.
Okay, Albina. So, there are some kind of art house psycho movies. Pod Racing Palpatine, can we have more talk of cake? Sure, that is some form of physical media. It is. And I want to give a little shout out at that moment, because we always say you don't have to drink coffee, just need to be a hot beverage. And my good friend David Kogel always sends me stuff. And he did send me this nice, lovely signed picture of his Muse cat, and she prefers tea. This is the most important thing of the picture here, the tea kettle.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, thank you for that. I look at that picture, and tea is the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. And he didn't only send me the picture from his Muse, he did 2 drawings for me. And I have to be careful. He says I have to be careful, otherwise they could get smudged. He did this one. Your Bastian is Discman.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Look,
that's a good
Rob,
likeness.
He totally forgot my spare tire here. Look, looks pretty nice.
You don't have a spare tire. Come on, man.
So this is the first one. I have to be careful with this. So, and the other one, he did. This is the original photo for it. The Holy Trinity together, doing a auto reviews, and this
nice.
is his
Look at that.
nice caricature of these photos. So thanks, David, for those.
You know what, Dieter? I wonder
was-
if there's a way
Yeah.
to clear your signal. Like, for whatever reason, we have not had the
Okay.
normal, beautiful
on
deer.
my end, Rob, it looks okay, Rob.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for me.
no-
Why don't I do this? Can you
Okay.
drop out? Let me disconnect
Okay.
you and reconnect you, okay? So I'm gonna I should have done this earlier. So I'm disconnecting Dieter. I'm disconnecting him. So Dieter's disconnected. Now I'm reconnecting. And nope, that still doesn't look better. Maybe maybe I could do that. Maybe I could send you a new I'll try that. I'll send you a new invitation. I'm going to disconnect that. And now I'm going to start a new session. I'm going to create a session, and I'm going to send it to Dieter Bastian, and maybe we'll get a better picture, because I apologize. I should have done this earlier, as I'm bitching about the picture for Black Panther, and Dieter looks like shit on this show, and he never usually does. I'm just like the people that aren't doing their jobs at the major studios. So, who knows? But this might not work. Maybe it's an internet thing in Germany. And I'm sending it to you right now, Dietz. And by the way, Dieter, if you're watching the live chat and you see it, I'm going to put this link in the live chat. Now, don't you jokers use it. I'm going to send this. Well, no, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, Victor. Yeah, your link was not there. Anyway, until Dietz comes back, Paul from Long Beach sends in a tip and says, I just got home from seeing a 9 a.m. Black Panther screening at Cinemark here in Long Beach. My goodness, Rob, I hope Talocan looks incredible because I barely saw it. The beach scene was much clearer on YouTube than in my theater. Even now, on Sunday, this fuck-up hasn't been fixed. Yeah, by the way, I am not seeing any industry talk about this at all. And I can't believe that this is the way that Disney and Ryan Coogler and everybody wanted this film to go out. And again, I don't know how it happened. The problem is so many people are used to shitty projection that nobody's looking into it, and they just think, that's fine. So I don't know. I got Dietz back. Let me see, Dieter. It's a little better. But it's still not great. Hang on, let me bring you back. It's
at full strength here.
yeah, it's weird. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe you look I think you look a little better now. I don't know. Sometimes it's just weird. They might be choking me off because I use so much bandwidth, even though I am paying for the. Oh, you know what? I'm paying for the big bucks. So one never knows how it's going to happen. Hang on. Let me see.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I did something. Maybe it was on my end. You look good now, buddy.
Okay.
That looks better.
Are we back on the road again?
I think this new link is better. Yeah, we're back. You look good. I can see you now. I can see you now.
My shirt is in full Max Payne.
Yeah,
glory.
I think. Yeah, you're now. You know what? I mean, you look like the Dieter I know and love. You're back.
So, okay, let's get back to the live chat. We were not privileged yet, Rob, but Marv Dogger said, watch the new Highlander 4K, and it's the best the movie will ever look, and the new extras are great. So let's keep our hopes up for next week. And Rob, you did start to put even your normal standard Blu-rays in those nice slip cases. And Blackjack Hooligan, where are the cases from? Drop a link, Rob. Drop a link.
Okay, I will get. By the way, I love these cases, and I'm putting them. Yeah. I'm being a snob. Here's what they look like before you put anything in them. Oh, wait, hang on. No one can see that because I'm not on camera. That might help. So here are the cases as they come. They're pretty simple. They're kind of pricey, but I have to say, I don't know if anyone follows Dahlia on Twitter. I don't know if she's still on Twitter, but she's a Canadian that lives in Montreal. She's this hot chick that talks about sex and movies. And she has an incredible physical media collection, and all of her discs are in cases. She does a really good job doing that. But let me find out. Let me go get, and I'll drop the link from Amazon.
In the comments, you normally can't put any Amazon link in it. They always get removed.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, that's lame.
You can drop a YouTube link, but other stuff oftentimes gets removed. But Blackjack Hooligan, normally you can find those slipcases on Amazon, but I don't know the title of them.
Yeah, the name. I'm looking.
Exactly.
Wow. You know what? Let's see. Did I ever show Sex and Lucia? I must have, because I got that right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for 2 weeks. I believe,
yeah, that was good.
3 weeks
I was
ago.
gonna say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking for the link, but
Yeah.
hopefully I'll find it. But let me look, and I'll get back to you here.
Yeah. Okay. And I continue with the live chat during this. Victor Fontaine said, yeah, I said that last week. Top Gun Maverick demo material. The Atmos track was very good, but could have had a little more boom in the sub and more movement in the speakers. Well, Victor, I'm totally on board with you. A little more oomph on the low end and a little more movement in the speakers. Yeah, but still a great sounding disc. And tele, of course. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was a function of the actual movie itself. It wasn't the Blu-ray. You know, that's in the original sound mix, I would say.
Yeah. And I showed it already, Rob, but even Tele wants to know, Rob, do you have the new Dog Soldiers 4K?
Yeah.
On second side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Our own, not anymore, Latin X-Men, Roberto Suarez was in the chat. Garcia is great, a new show on HBO Max. It's a mix of Captain America and James Bond set in Spain. Roberto, I only watched the first episode. Really nice. I will get into the show more. But I only watched the pilot episode at the moment. Considering No Escape with Ray Liotta, the Turbine release, Marv Dogger, the Turbine release is the best release for picture and has the best extras, but it is unfortunately an AI upscale. Okay.
Oh, by the way, I found the link of them, and I'll put it. I'll try and put it in the live chat and see if it will go there.
Go there. Live chat could be probably working, but when I try something in the comment section, a link to something like that.
Okay, here in the live chat, here's the link to Amazon. This is the link is 201 characters, and they only allow 200
one too
characters.
long, Rob.
Okay, I'll tell you. Here it is. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you the name. Here's the name. It's $31 for 25 cases. So they're like $1 a piece. Here's what they're called, and this should send you to the. So it's 25.
We'll put it in the comments too later.
Yeah, it's 25 steelbook box protector, protective sleeves, clear plastic cases, covers G2, and I apparently have bought 100 of them. As I found 4 different orders, I found out. So there you go, everybody.
They're going away like butter.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about my work, considering working for Making Transmission. And Lord Toth has a nice translation for BMW, which would make Rob really happy. He says BMW stands for bring more wine.
I love that.
Yeah. And Stavros Enoglu says, love the hairstyle deeds today. Okay, Slavos, this will get your first strike here. Considering hairstyle here, unbelievable. People in the live chat, Rob.
By the way, speaking of that,
Yeah.
if I could for a moment, let me just.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
Rob,
yeah. Oh, God, it feels so good. Just, yeah. Anyway, back to you, son. Back to you.
Rub it in. 2 tears in a bucket. I would love a movie review show from Dieter. Okay.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. 2023, an all Dieter all the time. We should do a Trash Panda show where you focus on great action, adventure, thriller, whatever movies that people might have overlooked, like that star Scott Adkins and all that. And it could be just like a 10-minute bursts.
Yeah, not longer. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you were to record them yourself, I'll add graphics.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll put it on.
Yeah,
What do you say we do that? And we got to come up with a good name for the show.
Perhaps already here it is, Rob. Admiral said, yeah, a Dieter show would be great. And our good friend from Sweden, Stubble McShave, Dieter's one-man show could be called the German. The Germ Man.
No.
Garrow Benjo Sandwich Worthington. Wow, All Quiet on the Western Front was awesome and very sad at the same time. Exactly. And Banyan Snipe, you have to help me out here, Rob. Ask, considering the movie, is it as brutal as Come and See?
By the way, Come and See. Oh my God! Like, I had never seen Come and See before. Is it? You know what? It's brutal, but it's different than Come and See is more visceral, realistic. It's not. It's a period piece, but it's not as much of a period piece as All Quiet on the Western Front. It's different. I don't think it's as brutal as Come and See, but it's brutal. It's different than Come and See is a real gut punch.
Yeah. Whew. The Alex Sorber, my Highlander box set still not shipped. And luckily, Alex Sorber, mine finally has shipped. So hopefully at the next show, we will finally can show the set. Okay, the slipcases, we covered that. And the Alex Sorber goes, considering your infernal affairs, you would like to exchange it. Retiring a DVD is a good thing. Exactly.
So good.
And always nice to see new names. Indie Fandom. So the third season is where to start watching Picard.
Yes.
Yes. Simple answer. Yes, exactly. Considering it was always nice to the 007 franchise when we talk a little about it, to see people, everyone has their favorite, it's always great. Altmetall, Quantum suffers from the bad camera work. The movie itself is okay. Indie Fandom, I like Quantum better than Skyfall and Spectre. Not big on Daniel Craig flicks at all, though. Those are one-time watches all. And then that movie again. Unbelievable. Victor Fontaine, Rob, where is the 4K release of Free Enterprise? And Lord Toss, I want a 4K Free Enterprise. So Victor, Lord Toss, I marked down 2 person of interest for that movie. Okay.
Well, I'm going to have to probably to get it. By the way, look at how good my hair looks now. I'm just saying. I might have to, if I were to crowdfund Free Enterprise, hopefully people would jump on board. I mean, and look, to be honest, to do Free Enterprise, it's going to be a premium title, like a Second Sight title. It's probably going to be like $39. But you'll get 3 different versions of the movie and all kinds of extras, and it'll be definitely a boutique title. Because, just so people know, when a film, to transfer Free Enterprise, I'd have to go back and do a full-on, it'll cost about $100,000 just to transfer the negative into file format. Because it's very labor intensive and it has to be done correctly, and that's just how much stuff costs. And maybe I can find somebody who will do it cheaper, because it would help. but I haven't gone in to try and price things out yet. I mean, I might find people willing to do it cheaper, but another thing is there's negative trims and things that I also have to get transferred, which is very labor intensive. So we shall see. Because I'd certainly love to do it before I'm dead. It's the only movie I've directed, and William Shatner stars in it. And how cool would it be to go on a tour and like take William Shatner to 5 cities, because he did that with Wrath of Khan, and show Free Enterprise and have an evening where I could interview him on stage. I mean, I think that'd be great. And again, something like that would subsidize the making of the film.
So a little bit like Kevin Smith with his Clerks 3 tour.
Yeah, it would be exactly that. And the money, all the money that would be generated would go basically to pay Shatner to do it, because he's expensive. And
Can imagine.
Yeah. And then it would be fun to do, though. So we'll see, maybe.
Back to 007 stuff. Tim Hens. Moonraker was my first ever Bond film on the big screen in 1979, so holds a special place in my heart. Jack Hayworth. Moonraker is probably my favorite Moore Bond film because of all the cool gadgets and action scenes. A View to a Kill is my next favorite. So,
ooh, ouch.
Oh, ouch, yeah. Polar Bear. I saw Live and Let Die so many times as a kid because my dad had it on VHS. Altmetall. My first Bond in cinemas was Octopussy. So it's always nice to see everyone has their different starting point, considering the 007 franchise. And a little bit of a hot take from myself, considering all the 007 movies. We love some, we don't like some, but none of the movies has destroyed the franchise like the Disney Star Wars titles.
Right, have. I agree.
Altmetall. There are discussions over the 4K quality on Usual Suspects. I haven't heard anything about discussions.
There's a lot of people that have been talking about the 4K Usual Suspects. I mean, it looked great to me. I mean, some people said that it was too red, but I don't think so. I mean, Usual Suspects was shot in a very stylized manner, and a lot of people forget that. So, but to be honest, I haven't watched the movie all the way through yet. So I'd have to go look, but when I first put it on, it looked better than I've ever seen it look. But it was, Usual Suspects was a low-budget movie. It's made for less than, I think, $5 million. So, I
haven't stumbled across bad reviews myself.
Yeah, some people are. Again, there is, I think, some people don't. When you review things, they don't necessarily know, because they're looking for something that especially with 4K, that's more naturalistic. And sometimes films, Usual Suspects a lot of it is not naturalistic. It was very stylized in how it was shot. So again, but I haven't looked at the whole disc.
Yeah.
So
okay. Thomas Bartholdi. There are still discussions on whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Hope that happens again soon. There is no discussion. It is a Christmas movie.
100%.
End of discussion.
It is. That's right. It is a Christmas movie. It's about a man trying to get back together with his family for Christmas. It's as much a holiday movie as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a Thanksgiving movie.
But you can watch it at summertime too. No problem with that.
No.
Stubble McShave. I don't know what it says about the show that the longest time that's spent on the movie is Ilsa.
Oh, come on, man! That's exactly what this show is all about.
Yeah.
Come on, man!
It's not a John Campea show, Stubble.
Yeah, John Campea doesn't even know what Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS is, and it's a Canadian movie.
Exactly.
He doesn't know.
And Tim Hens said, "Just added She-Wolf of the SS to my YouTube watch list later."
Enjoy.
Considering She-Wolf of the S, Video Hunter D said, Dieter, He-Wolf of the PGS.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's what we should call He-Wolf of the PGS.
He-Wolf of the PGS.
We should call, that's got to be the name of your show. And it'll be 10-minute, you might have to write him or something, or you don't have to, but you know what? You should think about that. He-Wolf of the PGS. And we'll even do, hang on a second. Hold on. You keep going. You keep going.
Okay. Altmetall in the live chat. The Witch 2 comes in January from Koch or Splendid. Of course, Altmetall, I know that The Witch, the other one, will come out in Germany. But I couldn't wait that long, Altmetall. That's not possible. And you said concerning Korean movies, yesterday I wanted to watch The Medium, and it wasn't for me. Altmetall, it's a movie from Thailand. It's not a Korean movie, The Medium. It's from Thailand. Okay, just that little correction. And once again, the question that we get all the time, Yellow Slapper, Rob, what region B player do you have to play your import disc? And I already know it. It's this cheap Sony player that is multiplayer free.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier, but let me just say, the only reason, like, what happened was my Oppo player died, and it was a horrible day. My multi-region Oppo player died, and I needed an interim disc player because I was beside myself, and they stopped making players. And that was an expensive multi-region player. I loved it. My Oppo was an expensive player. So I looked for something to replace it. And I got it from a mom and pop place in Chicago, this Sony thing, but it's literally like a tiny, it's plastic. I mean, the fact that it plays anything at all is amazing to me, but it works really well, and when I set up the media room, it's interesting because I hadn't had my amplifier, which everything goes into my amp now, and it goes out of my amp, HDMI, into one connection. But I did balance out both players on the inputs. I calibrated them, and it still works. I mean, the player works, but it's so rickety. It's such a little tiny player. I expect one day the plastic's just gonna break. So. But it was still $300. But what I really want is what I talked about, that Panasonic $1,500 multi-region player that B&H has. that's what I really want. And it plays all discs, so it'll play, because I still have a lot of British DVDs that, like Blake's 7. I have all of the 4 seasons of Blake's 7, and that's never going to come out in 4K because it was not made in 4K. It's NTSC. It's PAL. Pardon me. It was created in PAL. So the fact that I can still play that is good for me. But yeah, I mean, it depends what you want to spend. I mean, I always believe in investing in great electronic equipment because it will serve you well. It'll last a long time for the most part, and you won't have to worry about it. But cheap ass, I mean, most of the players that we buy now, people look at me and go, why would you spend more than $100 on a Blu-ray player or a 4K player? I'm like, why would you only spend $100 on a 4K? I don't understand it, because there's so much. It depends on the level. Most people don't care. They plug and play. I get it. But I'm a snob.
Yeah. That was the last point of the live chat, but just one thing. My worker colleague Patrick, considering the football game in Munich, there was even public viewing stuff, and he went to Frankfurt to see the game, and he wrote a little bit a WhatsApp to me. He was on the side of the Seattle Seahawks, Rob, but unfortunately didn't come to fruition that they won the game. He was in Frankfurt for a public viewing event of that game in Munich. That was the live chat room.
They're still at the head of the division. Just saying.
Okay.
This
was the live chat.
So, you want to do news and then show more of your stuff?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Here's what we got coming out. Believe it or not, David O. Russell's Amsterdam, a star-studded movie that nobody went to see. It doesn't matter how star-studded it is. Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy, Zoe Saldana, Mike Myers, Michael Shannon, Timothy Oliphant, Taylor Swift, Robert De Niro, Rami Malek. I mean, is the era of the movie star over? I don't know. No one went and saw it, but it's coming out in 4K. in the Ultimate Collector's Edition as soon as they can to make some money. Blue Underground, not to be forgotten. Jess Franco, who puts out, as I like to call them, 70s Eurocore. I love my 70s European softcore films. Philosophy in the Boudoir is coming out in 4K, a film by Jess Franco. Eugenie, or it's also known as Eugenie, Philosophy in the Marquis de Sade's Philosophy in the Boudoir. Who doesn't want this? And it looks like, I mean, look at that, Ultra HD, and in the same, look at this, the Marquis de Sade's Justine. So if you wanted to get Jess Franco's Marquis de Sade set, maybe this will come in a box set where you can get Justine and you can get Philosophy in the Boudoir, because we're all better people for it. So good on them. Thank you, Blue Underground and Bill Lustig. You're doing the work. Bill Lustig is doing the God's work. We've got a movie that I've never seen before called Dark Places that stars Christopher Lee, Joan Collins, and Herbert Lom. The European Cult Cinema Collection and Nucleus Films is putting this out. I've never seen this movie. I saw this. I'm like, I'll watch this. Just look at that cover. I don't know what it means. I'm going to watch it. Phil Tippett's, not in 4K, but Phil Tippett's Mad God is coming out. First of all, shout out to Shudder, because Shudder always makes their movies available. So they're putting this out in a steelbook. It's a Blu-ray and DVD steelbook. I understand there's going to be no 4K, which is a bummer. What are you going to do? But there is a steelbook of Mad God coming out. Definitely will be picking this up. Now, I know, Dieter, you've been waiting for this title for a long time. Madonna and Willem Dafoe in the full uncut version of Body of Evidence. When is an act of love an act of murder? Well, when you kill the person you love, I guess. And it's coming out in its full uncut version. Joe Mantegna, Ann Archer, Willem Dafoe, and Madonna. I mean, who doesn't want this? Well, probably everybody. But still, why wouldn't you want it? Now, here's a movie coming out finally. Now, this movie means something to me personally. This is David Twohy's first film, The Grand Tour. It originally aired on cable first. Jeff Daniels and Ariana Richards are in it. It's called The Grand Tour. This is a fascinating film. I was hired out of a class at USC by Mark Levinson and Scott Rosenfeld, who produced Mystic Pizza. I just asked questions when they appeared in class. They gave me a job. And at their production company, they also produced Teen Wolf and executive produced Home Alone. And the very first screenplay that I ever read that I liked, I'd never read a screenplay professionally. This was in 1989, probably January 89, 90. When I was working for them, this is the first script that I read that I said yes to, or actually recommend. I love this script. It's basically about tourists from the future who go back in time to watch natural disasters happen. And it's a really, I mean, again, David Twohy always had great premises. He wrote movies like Warlock. He directed the Riddick films. He directed, what else? He did, what's the name of that? He did this mystery thriller. But that's David Twohy. This is the first movie that he directed. So that's coming out, and I'm happy to get that. Then this is pretty funny. One of my favorite, I love Guy King, and it's only in standard def. This is the 70s version of Guy King. The complete TV series is coming out. I will buy this, even though it's an SD Blu-ray disc, so it's all 44 episodes, but they're only in standard definition. What can you do? That's all. That's the only way they exist. And finally, this is distressing. BFI has announced that their 4K of Watership Down, the animated Watership Down, we regret to announce that due to external issues beyond our control, probably rights issues, the planned UHD Blu-ray of Watership Down has been canceled. And if they're not rights issues, maybe they're element issues. Canceling a release is always a last resort, but in this instance, we are left with no other option. We sincerely apologize for any disappointment. This is very disappointing. I love this movie. I would love to get it in 4K. I don't know what happened to it. If it's not rights issues, maybe it was an element issue. They never tell you, which pisses me off. Now, and it's a bummer. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Who knows? Now, here we go for the best sellers of the week. Top 10 Blu-ray sellers, not a surprise. Now, this is just Blu-ray discs. Top Gun Maverick, number 1. Top Gun 2, movie collection, both movies, number 2. Nope, Bullet Train, Thor Love and Thunder, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Jurassic World Dominion, The Running Man, Starship Troopers, which also were re-released, of course, in 4K, A Christmas Story, and Elf. So there you go. And that's just Blu-ray bestsellers. Now we've got the top 5 home media sellers, and that means for the week ending 11/5/22, Top Gun Maverick, Top Gun 2, Nope, Bullet Train, and Thor Love and Thunder. Now, these are the top sellers of all formats, and you can see the percentage of Blu-rays next to them. So that's where we're at there. So, I mean, interesting. That what can you do? But there you go. I mean, no, not at all. Oh yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, our favorite, a new number 1. The top Blu-ray 3D sellers of the week, I guess because Christmas is coming. Now, we haven't seen a 3D title with a full percentage points, much less 5. Polar Express 3D must have been re-released or some shit. Look at that. Robert Zemeckis' Polar Express 3. Yeah. Yes, but this is, I mean, maybe the 3D came in the 4K. I don't know. But wow, we might joke about this, but hey, it's pretty cool to see this. I love seeing it. And good for them. So Polar Express, remember 2 weeks ago we only had 2 titles on this list. Now we have Dune 3D, Top Gun 3D, The Wizard of Oz 3D. I have all 3 of those, except I don't have the Polar Express. So, hey, that's pretty exciting, isn't it? I mean, maybe. I think so. Right? You don't seem to be excited. But anyway, you don't. I mean, well, hang on. I mean, are you excited? As I was tapping out there for a minute. How do you feel about this? I mean, in terms of 3D, you still buy 3D.
Exactly, but not as many as I used to, or that just don't get released anymore. So I didn't even get Thor: Love and Thunder in 3D.
No, I didn't. You know what?
The movie itself
care.
and the 3D was not particularly great, but of course I'm looking really forward to seeing the new Avatar in 3D.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I'll buy that. Yeah. So these are the top UHD, the 4K discs. I love this. Number 1 is Starship Troopers. Number 2 is The Running Man. And look at this, because the Starship Troopers 4K is it's only in 4K. 99.52% of all of the discs that were sold were in 4K, which means somebody still bought something other than 4K, because there's 0.48 of a percentage point there, so maybe 1 disc, I don't know. Sorry, Toulouse out there barking. The Running Man, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Dune 4K, which is still, along with Top Gun 2, I would dare say that Dune and Top Gun Maverick are the greatest 4K discs maybe ever. A Christmas Story 4K, Top Gun Movie Collection, and Elf 4K. So there you go. And now this is really interesting. I figured I'd share this. Here is a pie chart so you can understand. These are the top 50 disc sellers from the week ending November 5th. So you can see that DVD still has the biggest market share of physical media sold. DVD. Blu-ray is second, and UHD is bringing up the rear at 23%. I must stop Tallulah from barking, but that's pretty amazing. So this is where we're at with physical media. It's very important to remember this because, and this, of course, comes from NPD Video Scan Media Play News Research. So that's pretty incredible. So listen, I'm going to go take care of Tallulah while she's barking.
And I will show the rest of my stuff.
Show the rest of your stuff. I turn it over to you.
Yeah. Okay. I hope I'm back on screen again while Rob is caring about his dogs.
You are back on screen, just so you know.
Okay.
You're full screen, buddy.
I will show the last 5 titles that I got this week, and we've gotten the good stuff, or the big titles out of the way. Now it's more the cat in the bag time, okay? And the first one, I don't know if it's the sequel to 47 Ronin. I got Blade of the 47 Ronin, and it was actually not that bad. I have seen way worse direct-to-video movies. Was actually nice dialogues. Had some fun with it. A lot of fighting stuff, which is always good. Was passable from the choreography, so actually not a bad direct-to-video movie. Blade of the 47 Ronin, of course, with Mark Dacascos is the one that probably most of us know. He was in John Wick 3 and, of course, in Drive. The next one I saw back in the day, I think on Hulu. And even if I was pretty in the, it's nice. I just love the setting. So it came out in the UK on Blu-ray. So I got The Deep House with the 2 divers who drive to a lake and diving down to a house that somehow is centered in that lake. So just from the setting, I love the movie. But it's just an okay movie. Then on the documentary side, because I wait till Rob comes back, because I want to add something a little bit here for him too. There's just 2 things that match really well together, and this is, of course, the history of metal and horror, a documentary that came out. And it's a nice documentary, but I don't know if I will watch it a second or a third time. And the documentary, Rob, even features John Schnapp in it, which shows you how old probably the documentary is when it was made. They first capture the horror movies, the development of the horror movies over the years, then when metal came on the scene, and how they both always seem to a little bit have a connection. So the history of metal and horror. The other stuff, Rob, that just quick that you missed. I bought the Deep House, the diving movie, and Cat in the Bag, but not that bad. Blade of the 47 Ronin, and Cat in the Bag here with Ruby Rose, One Up, German Blu-ray disc.
Oh yeah, how was that? Wasn't that directed by Kyle Newman?
Exactly, Rob.
Yeah,
exactly.
Who made Fanboys?
Yeah, I knew that was something that brought me to this movie, but I haven't watched it this week. And the other one I didn't know. It was it's from 2000 and 2004. I've never seen it. It's from I think it's Synapse, Satan's Little Helper with Catherine Winnick, which most of you probably know from the TV show Vikings.
Yeah.
So it was really nice from the concept. Rob, do you know the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it, just like the concept to go around with a serial killer, from door to door, little trick or treating. So actually, really quite nice. Not perhaps a big pearl in the genre, but not that bad. It comes with a little bit of a new bonus features. So really nice. Satan's Little Helper. Good. Was good. Good movie. So this was my haul from this week. From my end, unfortunately, is no Highlander either. but hopefully.
I know,
next
dude.
week.
Come on, man.
We're waiting. We're waiting with big anticipation for the title.
Listen, we have an anonymous tip,
Oh,
and it's not about who murdered who. Anonymous tip says, "Hello from France. French film recommendation. Okay, Old One Tonton Fingur or Monsieur Gangster 1963. And it's not as old as Doberman with Vincent Cassel. I love Doberman, by the way. That movie is it's Jan Koonin. I love that movie. It's great. Well, that's a good one. I'll put that. So, Monsieur Gangster 1963. That was my friend. That's me saying it in French. I've never heard of that.
Me neither.
That's a good one. A good one. We have Jeff Yerke's here. Great friend of the channel. Jeff Yerke and his wife. Two people that one day I plan to meet them both, break bread, have some wine. Jeff Yerke says, "Hi, Rob. We did a double feature of Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock this weekend, but did you do it with the new 4K discs?" Although I have to say that all the classic Star Trek films are at the TOS movies and Next Gen movies are streaming on HBO Max now.
HBO Max, yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Are the new generation films in 4K on HBO Max?
You know, I haven't even looked to see what they are on HBO Max. They're the Next Generation films. Maybe they are. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I'd love to get them on disc in 4K.
Yeah.
We don't have them yet, but I'm sure we will. Ron C. sends in a $20 super chat and says, "Hello, Rob and D. I am enjoying Andor. One nitpick. The Master Control intercom voice on program. I kind of like it. It sounds familiar. Other than that, do you think Disney will put it out on physical media? Thoughts?" Well, unfortunately, I think that in terms of the Disney streaming shows, they'll never put them out on physical media. I mean, sometimes you can get them on the tuna train, if you know what I'm saying. They won't, because that's the whole point of subscribing to Disney Plus. And I think they're only ever going to exist on Disney Plus. Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to be on physical media. I mean, I could be wrong, but who knows?
They haven't released any of the shows yet, so I don't think so. You know, even if you would say they could have released a WandaVision now, since the show is older, but at the moment, no. So probably not. Probably not. But we could be surprised.
We could be surprised. Sorry, Elizabeth's.
Yeah.
She's asking.
We have a super chat from Tom Jr. Jackson, and he says, "Blade of the 47 Ronin is a sequel to 47 Ronin."
Yes, we also have other super chats. That's true. I knew that. Terrier, Tiberius Mark, all the way from Norway. Terrier says, "Deets, DB Deets, Tales from the Trash Panda Bin." You know, what can I tell you? I mean, I think Dieter,
you have to make a poll.
Dieter He-Wolf of the what do we say?
PGS,
it was? Yeah,
PGS.
He-Wolf of the PGS.
Of the PGS.
And now, look, I'll probably get demonetized for showing this or something. Okay. So, the YouTube algorithm, what I'm about to show is, hopefully, this was the actual movie poster for Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS. Now, a lot of I don't even know if I should show this, because you can get demonetized, copyright strike or something. I don't know. I don't know if I should. You know, maybe I shouldn't show it. Should I? Should I?
Not. It's your show.
This is for documentary purposes only.
Or put it at the end of the show, Rob.
Yeah, I'll put it at the end of the show. I was just gonna what I would want is I want to recreate this poster, but instead of a swastika, have the disc behind you, like the actual silver disc, and I want you to stand in this pose in maybe your Hawaiian shirt, So imagine in this image, it's Dieter standing up with a handful, like you're a card sharp, and you've got discs in your hand, and then you've got like a remote control in the other, and you've got a big disc behind you, and it says Dietz, he wolf of the PGS. and here,
nice
ready?
slogan.
I'll put this on just real quick. Now somebody needs to come up with some fan art of this, but here I'm just going to show this for a second. Now, you people that are going to get pissed for me showing this, remember, this is a Canadian film released in the 70s that spawned 3 other sequels. So here we go. There it is very quickly. Oh, there we go. Back on that. So for those of you, if you want to freeze on that, maybe the algorithm won't pick it up and I won't get like Nazi propagandist. I mean, I'm Jewish. Anyway, that was it. That was the movie poster for She-Wolf of the SS. And if we could recreate it with Dieter and discs, with the, which is maybe David Kokel could draw it. Anyway, there it is. And so we have some more super chats. Hartford sends in a super chat and says, Rob and Dieter, I love your show. Thank you both.
Thank you.
That was very nice. Hitchhiker 42 says, do you think a 4K of Nicholas Meyer's Time After Time will happen? I don't know, but I have to tell you, I love Time After Time. Nicholas Meyer's 1979 time travel film. By the way, I just got a text message from my friend Craig Hyland, who used to work at Videophile for years. I met him selling Laserdiscs. Oh no. He just told me that no one's going to know this, but if you lived in Seattle, a woman named Ruth Haler, who was on the Seattle film scene, worked for the film festival, Seven Gables theater chain, has passed away. So anybody who lives in Seattle that knew who Ruth Haler was, she was a mainstay of the Seattle film scene. I always liked her. She has passed away. I'm sorry to hear that. But I think, Warner Brothers should absolutely put out a 4K of Time After Time. It really comes down, the problem is with older movies like that, it really comes down to money. And Time After Time is kind of an obscure film. And I wish that they would put that out on 4K because it's a wonderful movie. It's one of my favorite time travel movies. Malcolm McDowell, Mary Steenburgen, and of course the late great David Warner playing Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper steals. Malcolm McDowell plays H.G. Wells, who created a real time machine, and went into H.G. Wells. His time machine is stolen by Jack the Ripper, who goes into the future to modern day San Francisco, and Victorian era H.G. Wells must follow him to stop him from his raining down terror on modern San Francisco. Modern meaning 1979 San Francisco. So, what a great movie. Love it. Terrier says, Burnett, did you get your copy of The Innocents? Not yet. I keep forgetting to order it. It is out, though, in this country.
Really looking forward what you think of the movie, Rob.
I can't wait to get it. I really want to get it. I keep forgetting to order it. So, yeah. So that's all the news that's fit to print.
Okay.
Do we have anything else to say?
I'm thinking about it, but I think we are through. We have the letters, we have the light chat.
I think we're good. That's a 2-hour show as opposed to our 3-hour show last week.
The usual running time.
So I guess we'll call it. We will call it. I've gone through all the tips, super chats.
The only thing, Rob, as far as I know, the World Soccer Cup is back on again in a week, so we will get back to you. We need your expertise, considering 1 or 2 matches.
Oh, well, there you go.
Again.
Wow. Well, on that note, everybody, first of all, I want to thank our moderating staff for moderating these shows, for being here. We have a great moderating staff. We have Bunyan Snipes here. Good to see Bunyan Snipes. Lord Toth is here. Tom Jr. Jackson has been here. I want to thank you guys for moderating. Roberto Suarez was here earlier. And again, watch his show, ¿Qué pasa, PGS? In Spanish, that he does with Alex Montano, or Montano. I just like to say Montano because it sounds cool. And Video Hunter D asks, is Warriors of the Future that one that Az was really excited about? Yes. Warriors of the Future is a weird Chinese. It's got kaiju. It's got soldiers. It looks like Starship Troopers meets a Godzilla movie on Earth. Don't know how it's going to work out, but hey, I'll watch it.
How was the title, Rob?
Soldiers of the Future is what it's called. The trailer's out there, and I saw that Netflix now has a trailer for it too. Big Chinese hit.
Ooh.
So yeah, so that's the way it is. So thank you, our moderating staff, and I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel via super chats and tips. That's very nice of you. And to know if you are a member of the channel, if you become a channel member, next week we will be having another membership, exclusive membership chat where we all get together and chat on Saturday, which is fun, and they usually last for 3 or 4 hours. So that's fun, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
Dieter, do you have any final thoughts today?
Final thoughts. I will hopefully get around to see Wakanda Forever perhaps this week. I have to see when the original version is playing here at the theater. And considering other than Wakanda Forever, there's no big movie coming out until Avatar, I believe.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on at the movie theaters, but there's a lot of really interesting movies. Spielberg's The Fabelmans opened in limited release. That's coming out, or that came out. Armageddon Time, James Gray's movie about his childhood, is out. So there's a lot of really interesting movies. I'd like to encourage everyone to, maybe go off the beaten track and see a movie you might not know something about. Go to your local theater, support local theaters. And your big chains even, and go see some movies. There's a lot of good stuff out there, not just Wakanda Forever. I mean, hell, Smile's over $200 million. Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Go see those movies. Buy those physical discs.
Exactly.
Keep our show rolling right along.
Genau. And on that note, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen. And I'll tell you, I do want to thank Warner Premiere for sending me these 2 discs almost a month early. That was very nice. Thank you, George Feltenstein. And you guys, man, do you do a bang-up job. Just look at those bit rates. Woohoo! All right then, kids. And that's the way it is.
See you next week. Hopefully, finally, with Highlander.
It better be, or I'm going to slit my throat. That'll be the end of Rob. Live on camera. Where's my Highlander 4K? I'm tired of not getting things in the mail. Enough of this supply chain guff.
Yeah.
On that note, have a better day. And we are out.